Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sjolie YouTube channel. Today we're going to be walking you through how to clean your Sjolie wireless applicator. We'll walk you through a daily clean and then walk you through taking apart the gun to do a full deep clean. So follow along for all the tips and tricks. Starting off with a daily clean, it's super important with this applicator that we're never letting solution sit in the housing of this gun for too long. We want to make sure that we're flushing any excess out and making sure that the water runs clear at the end of the day. So this is going to be super important for the longevity of your equipment and making sure that everything keeps running smoothly. At the end of each spray day, we're going to take this solution cup off all the way. And then we're going to fill it with just regular water. You can also put some gun cleaner in as well. I usually will add about a cap full of gun cleaner in there. And then you can go ahead and pour that in your solution cup. Once that is filled, you'll go ahead and attach it onto your applicator. Now that we have the water and a little bit of gun cleaner inside the solution cup, we're going to flush out all that leftover solution that could be in the housing of the gun. So you could either do this on a clean towel or inside a tent. I'm going to do it on a towel for the purpose of today's video. I would recommend holding the trigger down for about 45 seconds to a minute straight, just to make sure that all of that is flushed out of the gun. And it will look like this. And last but not least, we're going to take off the solution cup. We can empty that out. If needed, you can detach this solution straw and dunk it in water or run it under the sink. And then once that's dry, you can reattach it back in that gun. And that will conclude a daily clean. All you have to do is just rinse it out at the end of the day, so it's pretty simple. And now we'll move on to our deep clean. Moving on to the deep clean of this applicator. Again, deep cleans are super important. I would recommend doing a deep clean monthly, making sure that you're always taking the pieces apart, cleaning everything thoroughly, checking your filter, cleaning that if needed, is going to be really important for the longevity of your equipment. First things first, with the deep clean, we're going to start by removing this solution cup in the very back of the applicator. We'll go ahead and take that off. You can run this under the sink just to make sure it's all flushed out of any leftover solution, and then we can set this to the side to air dry. Next is going to be removing the solution straw. It'll just detach like this, and then we'll dunk it in some warm water. I usually like to have some sort of bowl with water and a little bit of gun cleaner in it, just to keep all the parts together so we don't lose anything. And then we're going to start by taking off this air cap in the very front of the gun. So we'll remove this all the way. We can dunk that in there, and then we're going to remove the air cap altogether. Sometimes solution can get built up in there, so we just want to make sure that is completely rinsed out. Once you take that air cap off, then you'll see that nozzle. So this piece actually detaches as well, which will expose your needle. It's super important that that needle does not get bent whatsoever, so make sure that it's away so it doesn't bump into anything. You can also dunk this nozzle in your water and gun cleaner just to make sure all that solution is cleared out of there as well. Usually if you ever notice sputtering or things like that when you are performing a spray tan, it's because there's some buildup in your nozzle. So it's really important to clear all that out. Now that all the parts are in our water and a little bit of gun cleaner, if you notice a lot of solution buildup as you're taking these parts out, you can let them soak a little bit longer if needed, but they shouldn't need to sit for too long. You can always wipe them off with like a little sponge or anything if you do notice any excess solution on the outside. But now we'll walk you through putting that gun back together so it's ready for the next spray tan. So I've removed the pieces from that water dish, and we're just going to let them air dry a little bit before we put them back in our applicator. Now that all the pieces are dry, it's time to put it back together. So it's really important when you are putting this nozzle back in. Again, we don't want to bend that needle or damage it. You'll push that back on, and then we'll move on to our air cap. This will sit in a vertical position just like that. And then we have that air cap ring. Before I put my solution straw back in, it's also important to check this area right here. So this is going to be your duckbill. And if there's any solution buildup in this area, that will cause issues as well. So making sure that this is always clean at the end of every deep clean. You can rinse it with some warm water just to make sure it's all clear of any leftover solution. Then we'll go ahead and insert this back in, and then put our solution cap back on. The next most important thing is going to be checking the filter at the very bottom of your gun. So this is really important, again, because if a lot of buildup happens and we don't clean this, then you're going to notice a lot of sputtering or it could stop spraying altogether. So we're going to check out this filter, take this out, and this is what the filter looks like. So this one isn't too bad, but we are still going to rinse it in some water, or you can run it under the sink just to kind of get any leftover debris. And then again, we're gonna let that air dry before inserting it back into the applicator. Once that filter is completely air dried, we can go ahead and reinsert it, just like that, and then close it back up. And that concludes the deep clean. Thank you for following along through our daily clean and our monthly deep clean, and I hope this video was helpful.